Hey everybody, David here, and today I wanted to bring up a topic. In a recent interview, Kevin Feige said that moving forward, Captain Marvel will probably lead the MCU moving forward. And so it did spark a little bit of a debate. Some people were okay with it, but I did see a lot of negativity towards it, mostly because some people didn't think she earned it yet. And I wanted to talk about my thoughts on if Captain Marvel should lead the MCU going forward. And I'm going to say, yeah, of course I want to see that happen, because I was predicting it, that it was going to happen like that for a while now, ever since Captain Marvel was getting closer to the release date. Mostly because she is a captain, and it would make sense that she would take over once Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, and possibly the Hulk are done and over with. Not just because she's a captain, but because I do believe Infinity War, Endgame will be the passing of the torch to the next generation of heroes. And I do think they are laying out some of the characters that will be in specific roles that the previous characters were in. If you think about it, look, Captain America will pass on the torch to Captain Marvel. Tony Stark has already been training Spider-Man to take over for him. I believe Black Panther will be the Thor character of the MCU going forward. I also believe Doctor Strange will be the Hulk character going forward, except unlike the Hulk, his series of movies will continue because they're not tied up with Universal. I think Black Widow and Hawkeye, their replacements are probably going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp, which makes the most sense, I guess, so far. And then you have Guardians of the Galaxy, which are still their own thing, but they're laying out the groundwork for the cosmic MCU, which is what Captain Marvel kind of touched upon, but there's going to be more. Obviously, the Eternals is something that has been rumored for a while, and we're going to get much, much more. So there's a lot to look forward to, and Captain Marvel going in and being the leader of the Avengers, yeah, of course. Did she earn it yet? I think in terms of the movies, she has earned it. Not in terms of how I felt about the movie, taking my thoughts about the movie out of the equation. Yeah, of course, Captain Marvel was it was a good movie. I liked it. But it didn't blow me out of the water, you know? And I think people were hoping for another Black Panther or another Spider-Man Homecoming. Maybe more for Black Panther. But it wasn't. And you know what? The directors dropped the ball on that one. But that's not to say as a character, her character isn't worthy of taking over the Avengers. Let's remember, when you go back and watch the first series of Marvel films, starting from Iron Man 1 all the way to the first Avengers, Captain America wasn't considered cool right away. Let's remember, he was the least favorite Avengers. I think for some people, Hawkeye topped the list over Captain America. I'm not saying everybody felt that way, but a lot of people didn't really think of Captain America as one of the all-time greats. It wasn't until Captain America the Winter Soldier where people started getting more on board with the character. And then obviously Age of Ultron and Civil War, and finally Infinity War, because Infinity War was the first time where people are like cheering and clapping. That first entrance that Captain America takes was a crowd-pleasing moment. People loved seeing him show up during battles. So the character has obviously grown since his introduction back in 2011. It will be... I think with Captain Marvel, the same steps are going to have to be taken, where Captain America, the first Avenger, didn't really get a lot of people saying, oh, Captain America is the coolest Avenger now. That was later on. I think Captain Marvel is going to have to be the same way. Right now, she's not considered the coolest Avenger or character in the MCU. Right now, she's considered okay. She's considered fine. She's an okay character for a lot of people right now. Because I'm not seeing no praise for Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. So either the Russo brothers are going to have to knock it out of the park, which I think they will. I think they are going to make Captain Marvel shine, just like Doctor Strange. Let's remember, Doctor Strange was a character. His first movie came out, and a lot of people were like, okay, fine, he's cool. But it was Infinity War that really elevated the character and gave the character an all-new fan base to look at. Like, yeah, he really did shine in that battle against Thanos. And I think, for myself, I think Black Widow became a better character when the Russo brothers took over her as well. And Scarlet Witch. I think they've actually treated the female characters a lot better than the previous directors before them. That's just my opinion, and I've seen a lot of other people feel that way too, which leads me to believe that I think the Russo brothers will know how to give Captain Marvel something really interesting to do, that I think people's perceptions of her now will change when Endgame comes out. I really do. With that being said, I think people need to relax, wait, and let's see. Because another thing, when Kevin Feige says leads the MCU, he's not saying that she's going to lead the Avengers necessarily. I think she will lead the Avengers if they continue doing more Avengers movies. But what I do think he meant by that was that moving forward, her stories are going to affect the MCU moving forward, similar to how Captain America's stories kind of push the narrative of the Avengers moving forward. If you go, and mostly because the writers that did the very first Captain America movie are the ones that are doing the current Avengers movies. They have been pushing this narrative and making Captain America sort of the centerpiece of this whole journey. Not all the time, but if you do go back and watch Spider-Man Homecoming or Black Panther, those movies kind of stand on their own without the bigger narrative going along, right? Obviously, sometimes we'll get an Infinity Stone here and there, but again, a lot of those movies kind of stand on their own without the bigger picture. Civil War and Winter Soldier kind of bleed into, specifically Civil War, kind of bleeds into Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, of course, as we're going into that. So I think what he's saying, and he is already hinting that we could see the Skrulls again. I think whatever happened in Captain Marvel, some of that story is going to bleed into future MCU stories, possibly the big crossover events. I could be wrong. This is all speculation, of course, but let's sit down, relax and see, and let's give Captain Marvel time to grow. Because just as once Captain America wasn't everybody's favorite Avenger, the same could be said with Captain Marvel. That right now, she's not the favorite of the new heroes that are out there, but that doesn't mean she can't grow into that role. We just need to give her that time to grow. And with that being said, guys, comment below and tell me your thoughts. Do you want to see Captain Marvel lead the MCU going forward? Or do you think they dropped the ball on this character and you just don't care? Because never say never to the future. Anything could happen. I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, especially if you're a huge fan of superhero movies, MCU, DCEU, whatever. I love it all. And with that being said, until next time, take care.